Hi, everyone, and welcome to Sandra Cruz Unfiltered. My name is Sandra Cruz, and today's subject is Don't Let Trauma Win. Did you notice how at the end of every video, I say, trauma is not a life sentence. You have the power to heal. Did you ever wonder about that? Did you ever wonder, well, if this is true, can I heal? Well, yeah, you can, but you have to fight for yourself. You see, every day you wonder if you should heal trauma and don't take a step towards it, trauma wins. Every day you're not working on yourself to push through your triggers, your self-sabotage, your limiting beliefs, your conditioned beliefs. Trauma wins. We don't want that, do we? I mean, you should be the one who wins. You should be the one who says, I've had enough. I've lived with trauma so long, I'm sick of it. I want it gone, whatever it takes. And then you take this, whatever it takes, feeling inside, this determination, and you do something about it. Because if you don't, trauma wins. And then you're stuck in a vicious cycle again. We always say, time heals all wounds. Well, that's easy to say, but does it really? Because I don't think so. Because you're still living with your trauma even after 10 years. You suppressed it so well that you learned to live with it. You built your life around trauma. Just like I said in one of my other videos, you're creating your life around the trauma. You're letting the trauma control your life, and you don't even realize that. So again, trauma wins. You know, I've had several people who booked a clarity call with me, a free consultation, just to talk about what we could achieve together, to see if they feel comfortable with me. And they cancel last minute. Something like that makes me so sad. Not for myself, no, for that person, because they had the courage to reach out and start a changing process, to heal, to find a way to feel better. And then they canceled because trauma won. That's not how this should be. Healing from trauma, especially when we're just starting, can be intimidating, it can be frightening, it can be terrifying. Do it anyways. That's how you heal. That's how you push through. That's how you get to your true authentic self. That's how you get to a life you don't need to run away from. That's how you get to a life you can't wait to start living. Don't let trauma win. Push through. You can find a way to heal. You have the power within you. It's lying dormant there, waiting for you to have the courage to bring it to the surface. Don't let trauma win. It's not worth it. A lot of people question who they are without their trauma because they've lived with it for so long. So they found comfort in their trauma because it's a constant pain that they learn to live with. But that's not life. Trauma won. You surrender to your trauma. Some people say, well, if I heal, wouldn't that make the story insignificant? No. What happened to you is inexcusable. But it does not mean that you have to hold it on for the rest of your life. It's not, trauma shouldn't be a badge of honor that you carry around with you. And yet some people do without realizing that. But what it really says is trauma won. Trauma took over your mind, your body, your heart, your soul, and it won. And that's not a life you want. There is so much beauty outside this box that is your life you haven't even seen yet. You haven't been able to feel yet. Don't let trauma win. Now, if you look under this video, you see a button with playlist. I encourage you to click on that and then look for the playlist that says my interviews. And there's, I think, 40 something podcasts that I have done over the years. I encourage you to watch an interview from a few years ago and one that I just did recently and see how much I have changed. You can watch my evolution of healing. You can watch my evolution of releasing one limiting belief after another in those interviews. You can see how uncomfortable I used to feel, how I didn't want to be seen, how I was afraid to speak up, even though I had something to say. And then look at one from just 2 weeks ago. It's not the same person. And no, I did not fake it till I made it. Sorry, but I don't believe in that. I believe in releasing the limiting beliefs that keep you from being who you are. And you can see my evolution in those podcast interviews. I did the work, so I know it's possible. I released all my trauma. For those of you who don't know much about me, I was molested when I was 12. I was sexually harassed at 14. I was bullied in school from age of 16 to 17. I was sexually assaulted between the age of 19 and 25. I was raped at 22. And then if all of this wasn't enough, the psychologist I went to, after the first session, said, well, I believe you already worked through it all. What am I supposed to do? And yet I still healed. I pushed through. I hit rock bottom and I chose to climb out of it. I chose to evict my trauma. And if I can do it, so can you, especially if you have me by your side. Because I know how it feels to be traumatized. I know how it feels to be free of it. I'm living it. And every time I grow, I still have limiting beliefs I push through and release. There's always a new layer, but at some point, it becomes exciting because you realize you're growing. So you're releasing something else that is no longer working for you. And I want you to get to this point because it's incredible. Don't let trauma win. The beginning of your journey is terrifying because you don't know what to expect. I know. I've been there and I see it in all my clients I start working with. But once you have that safe space where you can explore your trauma and release it, and you feel how you're releasing it because you feel better with every day, that's so worth it. Fear is an illusion. We create the fear to stop ourselves from going into the unknown. Don't let that be you. Don't let the trauma win. If my pep talk made you curious about how you can work with me, look in the description under this video. There's a link to my website. If before you start working with me, you would like to read more about my story and what I have to say about trauma and trauma healing, there's a link to my book on Amazon. And if you have any questions or if there's a subject you would like me to cover, I left my email address as well. So please reach out. I'm happy to chat with you. Now, I do hope that I inspired you to not let trauma win. Think about it. Be strong. Don't let it win. Take your courage, start healing, however that may look for you, and push through. Like I said, if I did it, so can you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe my video. And always remember, trauma is not a life sentence. You have the power to heal. Bye.